Hello, Internet. You're listening to the In Your House comedy podcast with the Babyface and his fellow funny friend. Now hold on to your butts. Keep your arms and legs inside the podcast at all times. Prepare to have an autographical orgasm in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the In Your House Comedian Podcast, the show where I sit down with one of my fellow funny friends from around the comedy circuit. I am your comedic babyface and general dickhead, as we all know, Kd Hinken. I am joined by the one and only Mr. Liam Feldman. Tell them about yourself, like the comedy-wise stuff. You've been doing it a while, haven't you?
I've started in March, so not that long.
Oh, okay.
I've done like a dozen gigs, so pretty new.
Fucking annoying how many of these new people come up and it's like, you're just better straight away. God damn
Well,
it.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that a lot of the time, but no, I appreciate that.
It never feels like it. I never would have thought you'd only been doing it that long, so to me that seems like a compliment anyway.
No, it is. Thank you very much. Yeah, I had like a bit of a hell gig and then like some hiatus.
Oh yeah, please tell me like if you've had like some like bad gigs already, please tell me, because this is some weird gigs like in general around.
Well, I did a gig at Santiago's in Leeds. Have you been there?
Its name sounds familiar.
It's like a small gig. It's like one where most of the audience are comedians.
Yeah.
And I did some pedo material there.
Always the case.
It went down really well there. So I was like, oh, I'll do that in Nottingham. And I didn't even get to do the bit. I just said, oh, I'm going to do some pedo material, but I don't know how to segue into it.
Yeah.
And I just heard this, no. and then two women got up and walked out. And that was a third of the audience. So it was, and I just fell apart. Luckily, it was at the end of my set, but yeah, that was.
Well, at least you did the smile thing though, and left like the pedo stuff till the end.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I didn't think it would be controversial.
Oh, weird that paedophile humour controversial. How strange is that?
Well, the bit is like it's about how like there's a lot of pedos in show business, and I'm sick of pedos because they're so talented.
that works. I like that.
And there's a Louis Theroux called A Place for Pedophiles, and it's about this place where all the pedos live in America, where there's no schools or nurseries. And I'm this bit.
Wait, is that actually real though?
Yeah, it's real.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
And so the bit is like, I bet it's got a great art scene there and stuff like that. Yeah.
They got like a freaking like a fucking school where they're just building up musicians, presenters. They're building up. What else is that? I can only think of the two that GURPS used the other day, so I'll give him credit for them too. There's other things that paedophiles do, isn't there? Other than children.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about pedos all day, but yeah, that was a hell gig.
You don't want to talk about pedos all day. How strange.
I mean, another hell gig I did was did a gig in Brum, and all of the audience were there to see their mate who went.
Yeah.
So they put him on last, so everyone stuck around. And
smart thing to do.
And his set, it was really good, but it was like a lot of dick jokes and stuff, and I obviously didn't know they were there for that stuff, and I did a lot of stuff about anti-Semitism and Iran, and yeah, it was that was my first ever like silence, because I think that was my second or third gig, and my first gig went really well, and it was a classic kind of all this stuff works and is really funny, and you go and do it somewhere else, and then you just like,
it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's like going into the bookies for the first time, putting £100 down and winning. You're like, oh, I can do this every time.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
No, but it's completely true though, man. I mean, this is the thing, I learned this very early as well, and it's the kind of thing you hear that a different audience can find your stuff hilarious, but a different audience can it's just different people, you know.
Yeah, and you've got to kind of like prejudge people.
Yeah,
it's bad, but you've got to like look at them and be like, maybe you'll like this, maybe you won't. Yeah, it's hard.
It's very fucking true though, it is. Like the whole reading the room is literally just judging people.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that gig, it was awful. I fell apart, and at the end I went to put the mic back in the mic stand, and this woman in the front row went, well done. And that was like the most cutting thing. I'd rather someone get angry or walk out.
Yeah.
But like pity is it's painful, isn't it?
I mean, it's not the best.
No.
Better than none, I guess. Sometimes.
I'd rather
So
nothing.
it's only sex that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pity sex is fine. I didn't realise you were a King's Eve boy as well, are you?
So I was born in Birmingham. My family moved when I was about 3 years old to Derbyshire, so I grew up in the countryside. But then I moved back to King's Heath and lived with my cousin for a couple of years after uni.
Okay, I did feel like there was a bit of posh in you, so that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm posh, but maybe
No,
compared to
no.
Birmingham,
Yeah, exactly.
maybe I'm quite
This
posh.
is the common of common. Yeah, just to clarify, I look at the camera as if it's another person and I talk to
That's all right. Hello.
it. But that's the thing, I'm using a new setup now though, so before we couldn't see ourselves on it, now we can.
Okay.
Which, if you're a vain bastard like me, it's amazing. I
Yeah.
love it. I just stare at myself all the time. Anyway, forget you.
Fair enough.
I saw something you did on Facebook
Okay.
earlier today. I was like, I'll go have a little look at a few little things.
Oh no.
And I respect it and also think you are fucking crazy, man. You watched all the Lord of the Rings in one go or something? You
I
did a
did,
marathon.
yeah. I got furloughed and I thought I'm going to help out. So I did a sponsored Lord of the Rings marathon. It was like 11 hours and
fucking hell.
it was hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was very difficult. Yeah.
Are you a fan of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Oh, so even then it was hard.
Yeah, oh, even then. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, it was that was hard going.
Probably next question in that case then, why are you a fan of Lord of the Rings?
Why? Why not?
I hate Lord of the Rings.
Oh, well.
So
I'm
much,
gonna
man.
go-
It's just like 11 hours of people walking to a mountain.
Well, I mean,
When they get there as well, they're like, oh, there's eagles. We can fly back on.
I don't want to
Fly on
fall
the
out,
Eagles.
KD. But no.
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 Is there actually a reason behind that, though, why they couldn't fly the fucking eagles?
Well, I think...
Why in the first place?
I imagine, because at that point, there was no one in Mordor to shoot at the eagles or anything like that. It
Was there
empty.
not?
No.
I can't remember.
Yeah, well, I've seen it many times.
When they, like, it's actually the thing that there was, like, no one around by then, so that's how they could get in.
Yeah,
So they couldn't
yeah.
have, it's got them nearer, though.
Yeah, they could have cut
Yeah.
out a lot of walking. Yeah, fair.
Okay, fair enough.
That is
yeah.
fair enough.
Couldn't have gone the whole way, but a little bit nearer. I mean, Frodo has some little legs. He looks like he would have got tired. Big feet, very big feet. He had a mission during that time, from what I saw.
He did. But, yeah, it would have been a shorter film.
A better film too.
Well,
I'm sorry. Have you watched the Prime one?
yeah, like, I went into it with quite low expectations, and
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
was, like, there's a lot of, like, flaws to it. I said it was like a cross between Hollyoaks and Game of Thrones. Yeah, it was, but it was okay.
I haven't watched it. Like, that's the thing. I've just never been into like the fantasy stuff really. Game of Thrones was like the first one I really got into because I know it's not really fantasy, is it? But it is kind of as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's the one thing that bothers me with a lot of the fantasy stuff. It's like fantasy is supposed to be like the idea of like anything and all that, but yet it's supposed to be, you know, fantastical. But yet every fantasy film kind of follows the same fucking thing. You got some orcs, you got some goblins, you got some elves.
It's pretty cliche if
Yeah.
you really think about it. But most things are, I suppose.
Oh,
Most,
yeah.
most films follow the same kind of someone.
I mean, we do comedy. It's literally very cliche. To be fair, a lot of it is
Yeah.
say something different, say something different. How it goes.
Yeah, so come to our shows.
There you go.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, do you have any plugs you want to do? Anything got coming up?
What have we got?
This will probably be out in about a week, this one, because it's a lot easier to edit now. So
I'm doing a gig in Lichfield on the 3rd of November. So, yeah, a guy I know has set that up. But I think that's about it that I've got booked. I need to get better at booking in gigs.
yeah,
I'm trying to do like 1 or 2 a week. But
it's hard to find them sometimes, though, man. Like they're starting to get a bit more better now from what I've seen in us. Like I've got coming up. I got on the 14th. I'm doing something for Michael Linwood, and on the 15th of November, I'm in King's Cross for Harry Dean's Way. I'm getting better at getting the gigs, but then forgetting to write any fucking details whatsoever. So I don't know where they are. King's Cross, that's London, I think. Don't know where the other one is.
so,
I'll have
have
to find
you
out.
done many London gigs before?
I've done a few.
Yeah. Is it very different to kind of the Midlands gigs?
They're all kind of different, but kind of not at the same time, you know. I always feel like this. People are kind of the same wherever you go. It's more, for me, it's more like not so much the area, it's whether you're getting, like the upper class or the lower class. Personally, shockingly, I much prefer playing to the lower class. I almost feel comfortable there. Very comfortable. But at the same time, it's fun kind of taking the mick out of the posh people too.
Yeah. And I've heard that it's some of the posher areas you get more like abuse from, and people are kind of like a shitter audience a lot of the time. Like, I've heard a couple of stories of where is it? Stratford-on-Avon?
Yeah,
That's quite posh, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
And apparently, like, I've heard some horrible shit going down there.
It doesn't surprise me, in all honesty. I did one. I was doing a gig recently at the Brass House on Broad Street in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It's been cancelled now.
I did one of yours there.
Yeah. But you did one.
It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Was it the one with Just P or?
No.
Okay, so you did the first one.
There was a magician.
Yeah, I was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. It was tough because like when the football's on, like there's people with like they've dedicated their time, they've got a talent. There's like there's a competition there. It's hard to compete with that.
And especially when the pub are paying you money to put it on, but they're not putting up the posters you give them anywhere.
Right.
I mean, you've got literally Broad Street, people walking across the whole time. All you need is a little placard outside saying free live comedy inside.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
I was expecting to see at least
anything.
A chalkboard.
yeah. But then the 2 weeks after that, on the next one, it was the Tory, the Tory conference thing, and it was right there, literally outside of the Brass House. There was like where they got the police were with the guns and shit. So we literally had to fucking bang in security for that gig. But we also had a lot of Tories in there too, and I think they were part of the reason as to why some people apparently some people complained, but part of what they said was that the staff thought that a lot of the jokes are racist. Now, I'm not saying that anyone can't complain about things, but I don't know if an all-white staff are the people to say if some jokes are racist. I don't know if they are.
I'd have to hear the jokes. Yeah.
Well, okay, to be fair, you would have to hear the joke. But
was it one of yours or someone else's?
No, they didn't say particularly whose it was or anything.
Right.
I don't remember hearing
don't
any...
name them. I don't want to...
No, they didn't. I don't remember hearing anything bad, though. That's the thing, man. That's one thing that I have learned through doing comedy. All these people apparently get offended by stuff, but it's never the people that actually... A lot of the offence is very fake, basically.
Yeah, people get offended on other people's behalf.
Exactly, yeah.
But I don't have like a strong opinion particularly, because I do think like you get it wrong. Like we all get it wrong, and you should like be able to accept that in yourself and be like, I shouldn't have done that or whatever.
That's the idea of growth and like talking about it and all that. A lot of people don't even want it to get to that kind of point anyway, though.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is comedy. I'll say whatever I want.
In that sense. There'll be
no repercussions. You can't.
Hold on, there's a difference between a racist joke and just a shit joke.
Yeah,
they're two different things as well. I should know. I tell a lot of shit jokes. I like shit jokes at the same time. I like a proper dad joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
I like one-liners and that, but it's not. I don't know, what kind of style would you say your stuff is?
It's a good question. I was trying to think of that on the way down. Like, I'm not massively into one-liners. More just like of trying to get a funny perspective on something. Or just trying. That's kind of what I want. Something a little interesting. If you've got something interesting to say. Opposed to this word sounds like this word kind of thing. Yeah. How long have you been doing comedy?
5 years now.
Yeah.
But it's like 2 years of the pandemic, and so it still doesn't feel right to say that.
Yeah.
Something like that anyway. Somewhere between 4 or 5 years anyway.
And how have you seen your comedy kind of change? Do you think you started off doing?
Yeah. It's weird. Like, I used to have an idea of the kind of stuff I wanted to do, like I don't want to say highbrow or but making specific real big points that I wanted to talk about, like the more political shit and all that. And then I realised very quickly that I enjoy talking about stuff properly, like on podcasts and that. And when it comes to gigging, I just like being a bit silly.
Yeah.
I just like being silly. It's really fun.
Silly is underrated.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of comedians are trying to be clever or cool. There's so many cool comedians, and I'm sick of it. Like, yeah.
Oh, you can be cool and silly. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I should have thought of that before I said it. But I think there's a big, yeah.
No, I agree, man, completely. One thing I would say about like comics as well, which we all do it, but I think it's good to try and be aware, because I try and remind myself all the time not to be snobby with comedy. You know, as soon as you start doing it, it's like, oh well, I'm in it now. I know what's the best kind of comedy. There's so many YouTube people. There's 2 YouTube people I listen to. There's sometimes like they're comedians. I think they're comedians anyway. They talk like they're the best comedians ever, because they'll listen to like so many different comics and that, and be like, it's not funny. Like, why are you making a joke about that? It's like, they're successful comics. You're not. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
They have a better idea apparently of what's funny than you, or at the very least, you can't say you can't always know better than these successful comedians. Like, you know.
I agree, and I respect anyone that goes up and does something.
Oh yeah,
you've
it's hard, man.
You've got to do something terrible, like a hate crime, for me to be like, okay, you shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I found with mine, like, I started off, like, people kept telling me it was like quite dark humor what I was doing, and I never thought that I had a dark sense of humor.
Yeah.
But I think part of it was like subconsciously wanting to do something dark, and then if people don't laugh at it, then they're kind of prudish or easily offended. It was like a self-defense mechanism. So I'm trying to pull away from that now and do more silly stuff. And I know
what you mean, exactly, to be fair. Because I think I did a lot. Well, I still do. I do. Like, I don't feel like the stuff I say is particularly offensive, but a lot of people get offended by the shit I say. Or I don't feel like a lot of the stuff I say is... Which there's always people that will get offended by shit you say or have an issue with it.
Yeah, I've never heard any of your stuff and thought it's offensive. There might be a subject that is a little...
No, I mean, but at the same time, I think it's a lot of it's how you say it, and people can normally tell if you just, like I said, if you're just being a bit silly, but you also have a bit of a... Like I couldn't get offended by anything, put it that way. People could say anything to me and I wouldn't be offended. Yeah. So I have to remind myself that other people have emotions. Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said for that, like, you build up a character or a context in what you're doing, and the way you deliver stuff can make it acceptable. Yeah, but when you're starting out and you're trying to do some dark stuff, and you're because you're so nervous, you're not delivering, you're not thinking about how you're delivering it, so it just seems straight-faced, and they're like, oh, this guy actually means this. It's like a horrible speech that this guy's doing.
Which can sometimes work as well, though.
Yeah.
Those nerves don't never go away. Never go away. I shit myself every time.
I'm waiting for them to go away, but
you wait a long time. Well, when you die.
Yeah.
I'll get really drunk, but then you just got nerves, you're going to fall over, so it doesn't help.
Yeah, I did a gig after a few drinks, and I'm not going to do that again. Yeah, it did not go well.
I tell you what I do, like my general thing, if I go to a gig and, when you get there, like you said earlier, it's just the comics and stuff, they're the kind of gigs where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get wasted tonight then. Makes it more fun. Like, I'm just performing to the guys, like, it's just more of a fun thing, so I'm going to get wasted.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that.
It is fun.
Yeah, I've noticed a couple of people prepare stuff for gigs where it's just comedians. Like, they'll talk about comedy or, like... like one guy just did impressions of comedians.
From the circus?
Well, more like professionals. Oh, okay, but it was like... He was like, I'm not going to do my material. So he just did an impression. It was really good. Yeah.
And sometimes, like, some people are great at crowd work.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Cars, you've seen him?
Yeah.
He's fucking great at crowd work.
Yeah, he's really good. I really like him. He did a good job. Because there was one of your gigs at the Bill and Bull, and I think it was the first time you were using the mic. So it was kind of... It was...
Yeah, that was the other guy's setup, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a guy that went up first, and it was...
The old dude.
Yeah, and the energy in the room was just crazy after that. Like, no one could recover, but Kayvon went up, and he did well. And he was the only one. I was up there. Everyone kept being like, are we done yet?
Anyone that went up on Bill and Bull managed to do something decent, then I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Anyone that went up on that stage full stop, I respect the hell out of it.
I've got to say, that was one of the gigs where The first time I went, I opened the door. There was no comedians there or anything. I very nearly walked straight back out.
I wouldn't have blamed you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have blamed you at all. And I'd still put you on here. Yeah. Nah, man, you get a lot of weird gigs. I think that's part of the fun of it. The weird stuff that comes from it, the weird stories you get, the weird people you meet as well. Like, comedians are weird fucking people.
The weirdest.
Yeah.
The weirdest people I've met. Yeah.
They make you feel kind of normal, don't they?
Yeah. 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 And even when a gig's gone bad, I don't regret it. Like, even the gig where I died on my arse and I was talking about Iran and anti-Semitism, I thought it went terribly, but then at the end this woman came up and she was like, "Oh, I'm Iranian, I'm really glad you talked about Iran." And I was like, how bizarre is that?
Yeah.
I eat a bag of dicks and then this person's like thanking me.
There's a place for everything though, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing though as well. I think too many people at the same time, like, even though I like being silly, I think too many people also think that they have to be doing like joke for joke as well. You can just have like a minute when you're talking about something, like stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
And then you go into something, you know. Weirdly, anti-Semitism made me think of Kanye then.
Yeah,
have you seen that?
I haven't seen it, but my mate, my mate just messaged me. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to about Kanye. I heard you were good friends and stuff." And I was like, "Okay." Yeah. But yeah, I haven't heard what he said. But
I watched the whole fucking thing with him and Piers Morgan, the interview, the uncensored one, and I'm still not really sure what he said. It was like an hour and something long. What was he actually? His point was I've never seen Piers Morgan throw somebody a bone so many times and give them a chance to say, no, I didn't mean that. This is what I actually meant. So many chances, and in the end, he was like, "So you knew it was racist when you said it?" "Yeah." "So why did you say it?" "Because it was racist." So, all right.
Right, yeah. I mean, the guy, he seems a little unhinged.
That's one word for it.
And, yeah. And it's hard because some of the stuff he's done is genius. Like,
see, people say that, and I don't know when,
what.
what.
Like, College Dropout album, like, a few of the albums I think have been
I like Gold Digger. That was a good song.
Yeah.
That was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was like, I think he started off as a producer, didn't he? And I think he was good at that.
Literally, I've always heard people say how like amazing he is, and I love hip hop. I love rap. I like one of his songs. I honestly do not get it about him.
Fair enough.
It's just past my generation, I think, as well, though, because like I don't know, like I'm like Naughty's rap was kind of like the last point for me. Everything after that, I didn't like the way like beats are made after that. I didn't like the style of the producing. Like even the new Eminem stuff, I don't like a lot of it because of the beats in the back and that.
Yeah, I haven't heard much of that new stuff. I mean, I'm not a big hip hop fan, but I like Kendrick Lamar. Have you heard any of his stuff?
He's one of the better rappers that's come about, in my opinion. You don't hear much of him anymore, do you?
Do you know? My brother's going to see him in Birmingham soon. He's coming to Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, right. Hold on. I keep forgetting we're just getting out of the pandemic still, especially America, aren't they? They're still getting out of it, kind of. So, yeah. That makes a bit more sense, actually.
But no, he's good. And he released an album not long ago.
What kind of music are you into more than?
Loads. Yeah.
Name me some of your favourite artists.
Okay. I'm a big Bob Dylan fan.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then The Clash. More recent, I don't know, like I like bands like Radiohead and people like that. But yeah, I listen to everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's more my kind of swing than anything. Like, I prefer, like, I grew up like around goth and I'm more of a metalhead than anything. Well, what?
That's one thing I've never gotten into.
Really?
Yeah, like that kind of metal and like dubstep. I
mean, that's completely different.
I know, but they're the two. When I think of stuff, I don't really. I can't. The thing with metal is like I'm just like. Anger is not like an emotion that I really want to have in my ear.
Don't get me wrong, it's good for the gym.
Right.
It's the baddest. And it's okay for the gym, actually. It's not even that good. I prefer like pop punk and all that kind of shit for that.
Right.
But metal is good. It's very technical. I hate the singing, personally.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
More than anything, though, I prefer like you know, your hard rock, anything like pop punk, you know, Blink and all that, like the classic pop punk as well, up to like hard rock is more my kind of swing.
Yeah.
But then I fucking love hip hop too. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I saw Blink 182 were like doing a reunion tour.
Yeah,
and like tickets are like £600 or something like that.
No, surprise, man. I actually got to see the original lineup like just before they broke up.
Right.
So I was really happy about, man. Yeah, and just when I was going there as well, who was it? All American Rejects turned up.
Right.
Like just a surprise thing as well. It was a fucking great one. But then he went off to Tom went off to do all the alien stuff, didn't he? Remember
Alien
that?
stuff.
Yeah, he went off to I can't remember what the company was he started. He was a part of.
I was like looking for aliens.
Yeah.
That does ring a bell.
But I mean, everyone was when he did it, and especially Blink themselves, they were like, "What are you doing?" and that, But you've seen like some of the videos that have come out over the last few years, the UFO videos.
I've heard about them briefly. I mean, I don't really know anything about.
But he was actually part of getting them all out, though.
Right.
Not just him, but he actually did have something to do with it. Hence why they were a bit more okay, maybe it wasn't not saying okay, maybe aliens exist, but maybe you weren't completely crazy for doing what you were doing then.
Right.
So you've not seen any of the videos at all?
I've heard it briefly talked about on podcasts and stuff that people like army pilots are spotting stuff.
They're crazy, man. Some of them are. The actual videos, you see this thing you got 140 knot wind going everywhere. There's this thing just staying completely static in the air, turning, and no plumes of thing from anywhere, no propulsion at all. It's just really weird. I don't look at it and naturally assume it's aliens. I think to look at it and say it must be aliens, that's a bit. You can't say that.
Right.
I mean, and people always say it must be aliens in a UFO. It's well, it could be a drone. It could be from somewhere else. It could also be from our government and they just don't want to tell you.
Yeah, I'd probably err on the side of that.
But they have been around for 40 years, though, which is the thing. And every other time we've had technology we didn't know about, it's kind of bled through by this point, Because the type of way, it's fascinating, the way that they actually think that they move, that they kind of warp the gravity around them.
Right.
And it's essentially, obviously I don't know, but the idea is that rather than, it's weird, it's rather than them flying, it's basically that they're making the rest of the world move around them, the rest of the universe move around. They're not, obviously, but from their point of view, their perception, that's what's happening. That's why they can slam around and do all these crazy moves without smushing in there, or the machines can do it without smushing, whatever it is.
Well, good luck to them if they are aliens. All the best to them. Yeah. Yeah, welcome.
It fucking bothers me how little people give a shit about that with these videos.
I feel like
my mum's exactly the same.
I feel like if there were aliens, it would be you just kind of accept it.
People have
like the pandemic. It was and now it's just no one wants to hear about it anymore. After aliens came down, after a couple of years, people were like, fucking hell, stop talking about the aliens.
It's shocking how quickly people moved on from it, man. I people always say this, we won't believe aliens exist until they land on the White House or whatever and come out the ship. Fuck off, Will. They won't believe it then. They still won't believe it. They'll be like, oh, it's CGI. It was a man in green face. I don't know. It's some fucking people. Are you happy we got a new Prime Minister now?
Not really. I think I preferred Liz Truss for all the damage, because it was it was kind of bad for the Tory party. They looked really poor, and I was like, yeah, can we just keep it as this for as long as possible? I'm worried that people are gonna start respecting.
Oh yeah.
Respecting the government, and we don't want that.
I mean, let's be honest, that ain't gonna happen.
No, well,
that ain't gonna happen.
I hope not.
It definitely won't happen. I actually quite like Rishi. He was the one I wanted originally with Liz Truss. I don't even know why. I think I just liked his face.
Well, I'll always have a soft spot for him because I got furloughed, and
was he
voting Labour all my life, and then the Tories pay you to stay at home. It did cross my mind.
For all we know, though, Labour could have paid more.
They could have. They could have.
Rishi, the one thing I liked about him was he's the guy that's made these cost of living payments happen originally.
Right.
The 326, and then there's another 324 one coming in just over a week or something.
That's something it shouldn't be sniffed at, I suppose.
No, that's good. This is the thing. A lot of people. I'll get into why I dislike the government, especially this Prime Minister. He's already annoyed me.
They're not being honest about aliens.
No, that's what it is. That's what it is. Totally. That's definitely what it is.
Tell the truth, Rishi.
My God, what the fuck? I think if aliens are real, I don't think they have any fucking control over it or even know any more than us anyway. I think that's the most interesting part of it, if there is anything to it, is that they're as much in the dark. That's the one thing I've learned about the government through the whole of the pandemic and stuff. And this is why I don't believe in... I'm fascinated in aliens, I'm fascinated in conspiracy theories, all that kind of stuff. People naturally assume that means that I believe them all. I'm fascinated in them because of how stupid most of them are. And more than anything, I don't believe that the government have enough fucking... they have
control.
Yeah,
they don't have control.
They can't keep their shit together.
They don't have control of the economy. They
Exactly.
They like to tell us that they do, but it's crazy. They have no idea what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, even this. This is a separate thing actually, but I keep thinking about it because I only learned this part of it yesterday and a bit more today, like about Rishi. I didn't realise how rich that dude was.
Yeah. How rich is he then? Can you remember the figures?
783 million. Wow. His net worth.
Wow.
His net worth. But his wife apparently is already a multi-billionaire, but most of it's offshore because she doesn't pay taxes here. So the Prime Minister's wife doesn't pay taxes.
Well, she didn't, but I think she's had to now. I think they were like, "Oh, this looks terrible."
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not.
No, I haven't heard that myself.
I suppose the one hope is that he's that rich that when he starts like giving people proper benefits, he'll be like, "That's such a small amount of money."
Oh yeah,
you take that,
totally.
And then we'll all be a bit better off.
I'm sure that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know one of the things that he's involved in financially?
Have
a guess, if not.
Cars.
They're not that broad. It's something that's been very in the news over the past few years.
Pharmaceuticals. Yeah. Oh, he is?
The specific one. Moderna, the actual...
Oh, is he?
The vaccine.
Oh, wow.
So, wouldn't be surprising if all of a sudden now we start getting more calls for more boosters again. Do you know the only people that are actually calling for the fourth lot of boosters are the actual pharmaceutical companies that are making money?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. All the other medical things have said, you don't need the next booster. Because it's already been free. I think, after
I've
that
had
point.
free. Yeah, and the third one I really took because I was going on holiday and they needed it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I'm ambivalent about
Yeah.
the vaccine, but that's just another thing that got really politicized. People got very angry. I've got a friend that didn't want them at all, and got a lot of stick for it.
Yeah, I can imagine,
well,
especially at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. It became a whole thing. It was I got the vaccine. I got one done. That's all I've had. I didn't see the point of from when reading into it. I was like, I don't think I need the boosters personally. From a certain age and certain health, you don't need as many. Just the little bits I don't point out because then they get the money. But yeah, I mean, that was the thing that bothered me. The only part that bothered me about it is when I heard about the vaccine passports coming out. I didn't like that.
What made me really angry was that they were gonna fire nurses and doctors if they didn't want the vaccine. It's like, after all of this, now you're gonna do that? That made me angry.
It did, but at the same time, I was also thinking, surely if you're a nurse or a doctor, you should want the vaccine, because aren't you supposed to trust where it's coming from? Do you know what I mean? If they don't trust it, how do we?
Well, that's the thing. On the flip side, we trust them with our medical health, but we don't trust them with their own. Almost. And I mean, part of it was spreading the virus.
Yeah.
But apparently, I don't know if this is true. Someone was telling me that studies have shown that taking the vaccine didn't halt the spread of the virus.
It doesn't at all.
Yeah.
Didn't hold the spread at all. Nothing like that.
And that's why I took it originally. I was like, I don't feel like I need it, but I want to help out. I'll take the vaccine.
And then you learn all it does, if anything, is turn you ninja.
Turns you ninja.
You don't even realize you can have it without even having any symptoms or having any. You don't feel ill at all because you've had the vaccine, but you still got it. You can still spread it.
Yeah.
You just don't realize you've got it then.
So have you?
There's nothing wrong with that, but
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the idea of the vaccine and then not having it. It's fine. That's just what the type of vaccine was. But for some reason, they made it out to be a whole different thing. It was almost like the information was all over the place. They didn't really know what they were saying for a long time.
No.
Almost like that,
Yeah.
Do you know? So good.
I was just going to say, I wonder what it would be like if they had been open and honest. We have no idea what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
I don't know,
It would have been
actually.
interesting.
Yeah.
I would have respected that.
I would have
been
respected
like,
it.
Whoa, this is a great leader. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Boris as well. Boris is the one that could have got away with it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I mean, that's something to be grateful for, that he's not coming back in.
I thought you were going to say that Boris got COVID.
Well,
That
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
No, it didn't kill him off. I actually don't hate Boris that much, in all fairness.
I think, yeah, it's...
I hate the Tory party now.
Yeah, I don't know. Each one has got their own little... From David Cameron to Theresa May.
I think the whole
Boris
system...
Johnson, they all have their own different...
The whole system's
strengths.
fucking broken, man. Like, it's what I keep saying that. Yeah, now after like 12 years of Tories, it'd be nice to have Labour, let them have a go. I think that should be the case now. I also don't think anything much will change. The system's just weird to me. Like the whole idea of, you have the MP Parliament thing, and you go in and like the voting on stuff and that, but then not even everybody has to turn up. At the very least, turn up to your fucking job.
That's
the least.
Yeah, that is very odd.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong, but I've never seen any evidence in my life of much changing, for better, anyway.
I don't know. I'm not too apathetic. I am a little bit, but I can't. I don't want to completely give up on it all. I think it's all.
This is the annoying thing, though. I say this all the time. When it comes to people as well, people piss me off, but then they'll do something nice, and I'm an optimistic bastard, and I can't help but be optimistic.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have that mentality.
It's annoying, ain't it?
People are nice. People want to do.
People are lovely.
People want to
Yeah.
do good.
99% of the people I meet are fucking lovely. 1% are dicks, but go on Facebook to find them.
I'm sure most of those MPs have gone in with like good intentions.
Yeah, you'd like to think at least.
I do think that's the case.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's like good intentions for who? But at the same time, I get it too, because if you're from a different, like, say, if you're an upper class person, it's very hard to understand what it's like lower class.
Yeah,
like, that's the thing.
There's no frame of reference.
Yeah.
It's like refugees. I have sympathy for them. I have no idea what that's like. And the way I look at a millionaire, they probably look at us with the same disdain and think, "Oh, these bastards." I
wouldn't blame them, to be fair.
Just going to the pub and doing all this.
When Rishi was the other day was doing an interview, and also I don't know when it was, but I heard it like yesterday, and they said like he was on about friends that he's got, and he's like, oh, I got friends, like, from the upper class, middle class, working class, and he's like, well, actually, no, not working class.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, that was when he was younger, and you could see,
okay.
Yeah, so he's like, I think he's like a student at that point, and he's being interviewed with his dad.
Okay.
And you could see his dad like a little like, oh shit, oh shit, don't be too honest.
Oh, in that case, I respect that if he was younger. In that case, then.
Yeah.
Because it's just honest.
Yeah.
And if you got money as well, you just, like I said, it's a different world. Like, I'd much prefer coming from poorness, because I think then you just obviously appreciate money at the same time. But
True.
But it's easier to blow it to. I don't know. I was on about this the other day with who was it? I think it was Nathan who was here. About being Newport.
Newport.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, the caravan. I was just about to say
the
caravan episode. Yeah, that's
I couldn't remember which episode it was. Like I've watched all through those series like once, which is why I can't watch the new series at the moment, because I think I just overloaded my fucking brain with it. I can't even remember which was that the one. Which one was that?
So I think a caravan is parked outside of the bar. And they're all complaining that this is the new poor, and they don't even know how to be poor, and they shouldn't be parking their caravan here.
I love that concept though, like the new poor and that. It's so fucking true. It's so true. I'd love to see like someone like Boris, like legitimately trying to be, living on benefits, for example.
Well, I heard that like Liz Truss is going to be getting something like 100 or 150 grand a year for the rest of her life now.
What, just on those 45 days?
Because she was Prime Minister, yeah, you get
fucking
this.
hell.
Which is, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, now I'm like, fucking, she played a blinder, really.
Well, I know, look, fair, yeah.
If that was in my contract, I would fuck up on day one.
That's a fucking good point, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I think is hilarious, though? 45 days, so she's already the shortest serving Prime Minister in history. Only beaten by somebody that was finished off by God rather than the people.
So who was that then?
I can't remember the name, but he was 4 months and then died.
But 4 months is longer than
Yes, I'm saying like
right.
she outdid someone that was
even that guy, right?
taken out by God rather than the people. But people forget that like a week and a half of that was delayed because of the Queen dying, so it shouldn't be even shorter. Which is amazing.
Yeah, it's been an eventful year, really. I mean, all years have felt quite eventful, but when you think about it, the Queen, Liz Truss, it's been a big year.
Liz Truss just feels like it hardly happened now, to be honest. I saw something written down earlier with her name. I was like, who was that again? And I had to remind myself. So, but I mean, was that the third female prime minister as well?
Yes.
Yeah, she didn't do well for that, did she? Though.
No, but
We need another Thatcher to make it right now.
Well,
I don't know.
let's hope not.
I mean, Margaret Thatcher's the one who took the milk, weren't she?
Yeah, and kind of left a lot of towns in the north, in the Midlands. Well, I mean, like people will say what she did was necessary. She closed down the pits and stuff like that, but all those communities like never really recovered.
Pits,
like the mining.
Oh,
areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm guessing it was one of those kind of things when he changed so that whoever was there at the time probably would have had to because of the safety stuff, or
maybe, yeah. I don't know. I wasn't about for that.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What about yourself?
31.
31.
Yeah, I'm the older. Yeah, you would never afford that from the conversations. You know, are you a Halloween fan at all? Because like from time of recording, I mean, it's like what, literally in like 3-4 days. What day are we on now? It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5 days. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big Halloween guy. I don't like doing fancy dress. Like I'm going to a party on Saturday, and I've been moaned at heavily for not dressing up.
Are you going to?
Well, I was gonna. See, one of the benefits of having a bald head is that you can do interesting stuff. So
Okay,
I was gonna paint my head as Planet Earth. It's not really scary, but I thought
that's cool.
I've always
wanted
to do it.
I like it straight away.
Another idea I had was to like fashion some kind of backboard and a ring and paint my head as a basketball. I think that would be good.
That's really fucking good, that one. That's really good.
But luckily, my mate texted me and he was like, "Oh, they're not really doing fancy dress this year," which I'm glad, because if I turned up with Planet Earth and no one else...
If you normally don't dress up though, and they normally do, and then not this time, you should go against the grain completely and dress up. Like, you should go balls to the court.
Yeah, but I also just can't be bothered. I think part of it is laziness, and I don't want to spend money on like an outfit.
Doing my way though. I love the creativeness of Halloween, like going to like a chowder shop, just finding random shit and be like, I don't like being a character. I like more like you were doing, then like, you know, just making something up. What were you gonna do with the Earth one though? Just Earth, or were we gonna have like
just the Earth? I just like the idea of like, I even thought you could do it as a character on stage and just be like really angry, and the Earth is like having to go at people for like being on Facebook. I don't know. But
you could throw plastic bottles at people.
Yeah,
take them back, you fucking.
Yeah, you could write something with it, I'm sure.
You could definitely write something. That'd be quite fun, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'd love to do like little character bits like that on stage more, but it's just deciding on the one and then doing it, and then if it goes well, you got to keep doing it. Then.
Yeah, you don't want to be typecast as the Earth. That would be bad.
I guess. Yeah.
But I do like. I want to set myself challenges with comedy. Like, I've never used props or anything like that, so I want to try and have a go at doing different
Good idea.
things.
Yeah, experimenting, man.
Yeah. Have you done any experimenting?
Oh,
over the
yeah,
years?
I've done loads of random ones. Like, I'm trying to think of something. Like, right at the beginning, I remember I did something where I had like papers and I was just throwing them off one by one, and then there was something like at the bottom of it, and something about a dick pic. I was turning around, it was a Richard written on it, and that was it. Something stupid like that. I don't know, I've done poems on stage. I like poems. I've done raps on stage.
I've heard some of your raps.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the one that I tried to do on that night, weren't it? But the mic was fucked up. I found out afterwards. Like, none of you could understand me. Oh.
Yeah.
Get to appreciate BB Gun Shelley. That's my rap name, BB Gun Shelley.
BB Gun Shelley.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's not. I just decided it is now. Yeah, that like singing. I don't know. I think it's fun to just do anything really.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, is the freedom.
Exactly, yeah,
Like, you can literally do whatever you want.
Like, have you ever done any other kind of performing before?
No.
Like, I used to do music before. I was
Okay.
a drummer, which I love. I love music and that and performing, but it's just, you kind of just stuck at the back, you know. You can't really do that much. And my friends knew the kind of shit that I would say, so they would never allow me to have a live mic.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't blame them at the time because it wasn't the place, I guess.
No, not really.
And I was a bit more immature back then as well.
Yeah, especially during a song as well.
Oh, no, not during a song.
You don't want someone to be shouting out, "Hey, this time!"
I couldn't do it during a song. Oh, mate, it's so hard to like even sing and like, do anything while you're drumming, man. If you're going like properly.
Yeah, because it is like,
I used to be in shape,
yeah. And to be able to sing at the same time is incredible.
Yeah, you'd have. I don't even know how you'd do that. Like, it would have to be like a chill beat or something. One of them would suffer either way. You know.
Who's that guy? Anderson .Paak. Have you heard him? He's a drummer and a rapper. He's really good. Like, I would recommend you listen to that. It's great.
What's it called? Because that does sound interesting.
It's Anderson.
Yeah.
And then Paak is spelled P-A-A-K.
Okay. It's got a K in there too. I like that even more. Fuck after my own heart.
And apparently, like, sometimes he doesn't drum, so he has like a drummer on stage doing the band, and then occasionally he'll like just kick him off and do his own drumming. I always feel bad for that guy. He's like,
he's getting paid either way.
Yeah,
he's
true.
good.
That's true.
No, I've had a dream about that, like just doing a comedy show at some point, incorporating a drum kit. I don't know how it would ever work, but I'd be so happy if I could.
Well,
figure
you
that
can
out
do
at some
your own.
point.
Yeah,
because I can
you
do
could
that.
just do that.
Just
all the
that.
time. And that, like, if you do it enough times, it becomes funny.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm at the moment teaching myself keyboard so I can do that on stage.
Okay.
Because I love the whole, as you know, like I said before, I like singing and stuff on stage. But it's just when you got a backing track, once it starts, you got to kind of just go. So you can't just stop if somebody does something or there's something funny to focus on. You're like, stop and stay there. Even just that, and then carrying on again. You know, like it's fun. But with a track, you can't do that. But if you got the keyboard, you squeeze. It's fucking hard though.
I've seen some really good music comedy acts. I could play a bit of piano, but I like that's one thing. Musical comedy is not for me.
No. I like it and I don't like it. Like, the stuff I like doing, I've noticed, is not always the stuff I like watching. If that makes sense. Like,
do you know? Have you ever heard Lynn Smith? She's a comic. Yeah, she's been on the circuit. She does a song about how much she hates musical comedy.
Yeah, I think I do know what you mean.
She's
Actually,
great.
yeah.
I really rate her.
I was when I first got into comedy, I was about to say there was a girl that I was seeing that was also a comedian, and I don't even think she does it anymore. She had a great bit where it was like she had a guitar there the whole time, and then at the end she'd be like, "I'm going to sing a song now about my ex" or something like that. She started like, and it's like, "Cunt, bye." It's so good.
And was that the end of a set?
Yeah, that was the end of it.
Oh, right.
I think she said it at the beginning, but I was saying like, no, do it at the fucking end because that's such a great fucking closer. That is, Bang, especially if you've got the guitar there the whole time. You know, nothing else with it. I'd love to be able to play guitar, but I cannot do that. Cannot get my head around that.
No.
Nah, it's too fiddly, and I got weird fingers, so it's really strange.
It's painful when you're learning. Like I don't really play. My brother plays, but like whenever I've tried to learn, I'm like fucking hell.
I can play bass.
His fingers are like I don't know, really tough now.
I can play bass guitar, like the big strings. That's easy because you know it's a bit more. But it's when they're all small and they're like fiddly. It's like trying to do this all the time. It's like
picking is it's hard.
It's the fingering. Not do that end. That end. I'd rather to learn it the way like Phoebe taught Joey. The crab claw.
Right, yeah.
That seems my kind of way of doing it. All the letters confuse me and everything.
So how long have you been playing piano for then? Or keyboard?
Just like 3 months, 4 months.
Okay.
Like a proper new teaching.
So it's not ready for...
Oh, no.
For comedy yet?
No. I really enjoy just playing. So there's a particular song I have already where it's to the tune of If I Only Had a Brain. So that one I need to learn. Everything else I can just make it up. I like making sure.
You've sung that before, I think, on stage. Yeah.
If I Had a Longer Tongue.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I do enjoy that
I think
song.
it's a great tune.
Thank you.
Yeah. you meet a lot of great people doing comedy as well.
You do.
It's not all.
Oh man, most of them are lovely.
Yeah.
Literally, out of all the people I've met, I'd say like 4 people are dicks.
Yeah.
And it's like, as you know, you're doing it for a few years, you meet hundreds of comics.
Yeah, no, you meet, and because it's so hard, everyone's so supportive. Like the first gig I did, everyone was dead supportive, and
the majority of comics are super supportive, man. And it's nice. There is a proper, because it's the only way it can really work. It's like the whole community thing, like and like people putting on gigs for each other as well. Like even if someone's just a comic, like rather than trying to be a host, a lot of people put on gigs just so we've all got somewhere to perform and get a name out.
Yeah. So when did you start putting on gigs for the first time?
Before the pandemic, like about a year before the pandemic, probably something like that.
So you've probably been doing comedy for like a year or two?
Before it?
Before you started putting on your own shows?
Something like that, yeah.
So I would like to do that. I think that's a good challenge to set yourself.
I think there's no set time when you can, man. It's just... like, I saw people saying recently, like, about not wanting to do comedy anymore and they're going to focus on just being an MC, but they're the same thing. Like, being an MC gets you tighter, and more than anything, it gets you really comfortable on stage.
Yeah, I think I want to maybe do some MCing before starting my own thing, but I've kind of got a venue in mind and stuff like that. So
see, it's good and bad, because then sometimes you can be scared off if you go into someone else's to do it as well, because it's not your own thing then. Whereas if it's your baby that you build,
Yeah, I think MCing is like the hardest thing ever, because when you're up there and an MC starts doing material, I think there's a feeling in the audience that they're kind of taking liberty or something like that. Like, it's really hard, but you need to warm them up, but not take too much time. Like, I think it's such a challenge.
There is, I've noticed this, like, there's a lot less...
generosity
from the crowd for the MC. I thought it was me at first, but then I noticed it with other people and talking to other people. Like, it is just a thing, you're right. And as long as you're aware of that, then I think you're fine. Most people just go in expecting to be laughed at constantly in a good way. Especially when you're an MC. One of the bits I've gone on stage and said, like, when I've been MCing is it is my job as an MC to make everybody else look even better, and I'm going to do that by being as unfunny as possible. And for that, you are all welcome. And just kept going like that, It worked.
You want to be self-deprecating. I think every comedian should have a bit of self-deprecation.
You should be open to it at least, anyway. Not take yourself too seriously. I can't imagine too many people to do
No, I haven't met anyone that's taken themselves seriously. I think.
I was thinking maybe, but I'm not going to name them. It's not going to fucking help.
Even when someone does something awful, you don't want to mention.
It's just easy enough to.
You've done it as well. You've been awful. You know what I mean?
We've all of us comedians, but all terrible fucking people. To be fair, we are. We are literally torturing ourselves to get some adulation, some attention.
Yeah, you don't. It's best not to think about it too much while you're doing it. You're like you kind of tell yourself, I need a creative outlet. People have told me I'm funny. I should do this. When really, you've reached a point of desperation in your life.
That's exactly what it is,
and that's really why you're here.
And that is the truth about comedy.
It really is. Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. I can assume then, because I meant to ask you this with the Halloween stuff earlier, I can assume you don't believe in ghosts either.
No, I don't. I was in the office like a while back, and I'd heard someone say the probability of you having a dream about someone and then them dying the next day is actually quite high. And then a woman in my office went, "Well, that actually happened to me," and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I was just kind of like. Yeah,
that's a
shout
weird,
on her story, but
that's a weird concept. What? So the idea of having a dream about someone and then they die?
Yeah, and then they die the next day, because that's quite a common thing that people say that they've experienced that, but apparently the likelihood of it happening is actually quite high. So
that's probably because we have like hundreds of dreams a night, don't we? We just don't remember them.
Yeah.
But then something can bring you back, and someone dying, that makes sense. I don't believe, especially because I have a belief in ghosts, but I don't believe they're dead people. I believe, if anything, because I did see something when I was younger. I say when I was younger, I was literally about 25 or 22, actually, something like that. Just a glowing lady at a grave. Not sober, which is a weird part.
Okay.
I might have just been hallucinating from past times when I've done drugs, so I'm not denying that. But does ghosts are real at all, I think it's probably just like a bleed through from another reality, another dimension kind
Another
of thing.
dimension.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they kind of, we know dimensions exist or do and don't, you know. So that possibly, but I don't know. It could also just be the world glitching. It could be that the world is I don't believe in the fucking, I hate that fucking thing, was it? Simulation theory.
Oh, what's simulation?
Where we all live in a matrix, basically. Fucking hate that.
I love the film The Matrix. The
Oh,
first
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. But
It's not real.
yeah, yeah. But I wouldn't really know. There's a lot of unknowns, isn't there? Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, sure, yeah, but then to assume we're in GTA is a whole other one. You know, yeah.
I think anything that explains everything is wrong.
Yeah.
Any meta narrative is flawed.
Yeah, that bothers
And that
me.
in itself is a meta narrative.
Which is flawed.
And therein lies its flaw. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just head fucked me then. Do you have any, like, kind of, that kind of stuff you believe in? Like, any...
Not really, no, I don't really have a great deal of, spiritual belief.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, like, any conspiracy stuff you believe in?
Not really. I think... Yeah, I don't know. I'm the guy that just waits for it to come out into the mainstream.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you love that stuff. I mean, look, I think there have been huge conspiracies, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
and I
of
think
course.
that's why, like, the reason why the West has so many conspiracy theorists is because there's been so many conspiracy theories. And like, so like, I get that. And look, hey, if you're into one and then it comes true, like, more power to you. Like, fair play to you.
It's funny how many things, like, are a conspiracy at one point and then, like, a few months later they're not. Like, the whole, when, like, actually, back with the vaccine again, actually, like, when a lot of the testing was being done, they made out there was all these different, like, things for the boosters and that, all these big trials and that. Turns out, do you know what it's come out, like, they tested it on 4 mice.
Did they really? For one of the COVID vaccines?
The booster.
I think look, there's going to be a whole array of stuff that will come out over the next year. So it's like, oh my god!
Legitimately, 4 mice is what they tested it on, or 8. Either way, it was mice.
I did hear
single figures.
I did hear something that I think this was in America, but the kind of, not the statute for limitations, but the equivalent of you can have a go at them was like 80 years. So everyone's going to be dead and gone by the time anything comes out. So look, I'm sure that look, there's a lot of shady people out there, and that was just a field day for them. Like we can get away. We can get away. Like the guy that runs a pub that's like, I gotta make PPE. Yeah, I mean, whoever's got the balls to do that. I mean, Jesus. I was like, I was one of the scared people. I was like, I'll just stay inside. I'll go out once a day. I'll do what I'm told.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt like the pandemic came at the perfect time for me because I'd really got annoyed at people by that point. So having like a full year of not having to really see many people, beautiful.
I got furloughed for 4 months. It was probably the best time of my life. Like, I got in the best shape ever, and I was just, when you go on like a nice holiday and you've had a proper rest and you come back and you feel rested. I felt that for months after I was furloughed. I just felt great, and it's because you're not having to go to work every day. I was sunbathing in the. Do
you have children?
No.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I was.
When you said about going on holiday and feeling refreshed, this dude does not have children, man.
Yeah. How many kids have you got?
2.
2
little
how
dudes.
old are they?
Well, the oldest one is just started secondary school.
Really?
Oh my God.
Oh, cool.
It's so weird. It's not cool. It's not cool.
It's not cool.
No, because I did you. So did you? King's Eve is where I grew up.
Right.
I went to secondary school at Weeders Lane. Do you know that?
Yeah, I think my cousin went there.
Boys' school.
Alistair McTaggart. Have you ever heard of him? Sorry to name drop you there, Al. But he's my cousin. I lived with him in Kings Heath. But yeah, Wheeler's Lane rings a bell.
It's I'm trying to think of exactly where. I mean, Kings Heath, like there's also like what is it? Do you have one Bishop Chandler? There's that one as well.
I mean, Wheeler's Lane. I definitely know someone that went to Wheeler's Lane because I've heard of it.
It was a boys' school,
Colin Williams. Have you ever heard of?
No. But I mean, there were a fucking lot of people.
Yeah.
Going to a boys' school though, and then knowing that my son, he's not going to boys' school, he's going to a mixed school, but still, I remember school. It was suddenly everything went from nicey to. We didn't have paper balls in my school. We had like paper ball fights. We had flaming paper ball fights.
Right.
We didn't have happy slaps. We had happy punches. We had for a bit. It was a thing to go around with a compass to stab each other. My school was very. It was apparently it's one of the rougher schools as well. It was really fun. Like to be honest though, I love the fact that I went there because, well, it made me not be a bitch now, so it's kind of forced me to not be.
It's funny you should say it because I often wonder what my life would have been like if my parents had stayed in Birmingham. But I grew up in I had this like angelic childhood, like in the countryside. We had this garden, and it like the end of my garden there was like a little park, and I would ride my bike around the town, and it was just like it was beautiful.
The only park I went to was in year 7 to go and take drugs with my mates.
Well, this is the thing, yeah. I had
year 7,
I had quite a sheltered life, in comparison.
Oh man, it's all different things. But yeah, fucking no, I say that though, but then I hear about some of the stuff that my kid's mum did growing up in Chelmsford Wood, and I'm like, still could have been worse. Chelmsford Wood, worse than Kings Heath.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Something Hill. Is that a rough area?
A Cockshut Hill. Or wait, something Hill.
Not Snow or Spark or something.
Oh, Snow Hill.
Was that?
Well, that's their own town.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah.
But like when I moved to Birmingham, that was like one of the most anxious times of my life.
Really?
And it wasn't because like Birmingham's like.
So how old were you? Sorry.
So I would have left uni. I was probably about 22, 23.
Wow.
And I kind of at the drop of a hat went and moved in with my cousin, and I didn't have a job. I was about $2,000 in my overdraft and stressed as fuck. And when I went down there, I rang up to change my car insurance over to my new address. And going from a little Derbyshire village to Kings Heath, it doubled.
I can imagine.
And I was like, I can't afford this. So I basically rang them back after 5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I just changed my address. Can I change it back, please? And they were like, what? Anyway, they read me this like legal spiel. They were like, if you ever make a claim, it's going to get investigated. All this, like, clearly you're lying. I was like, okay, put it down. And I could see my car from outside. And I was just like stressing out so much, and then my TV just blew up.
What?
It just blew up, and it was like someone out of a film, and I was just like, I'm gonna have a panic attack.
That does sound like a very bad start to Birmingham.
It was.
Like,
it really was.
And you've admitted to a crime now as well, which is even worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's registered at the correct place now.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah. Okay.
And it's all comedy, isn't it? So it's all. It's all comedy.
For example, I am definitely not going to go and get really high after this. For example, comedy. Anyway, what the fucking name? Yeah, fucking you remember? The university. That's it. I wanted to jump back to that.
Okay.
See, I never went to university, but everyone seems to fucking hate uni after they leave it. Everyone seems to be like in super debt, and then. Is it just me, or do a very small fraction of the people that go to university and get in debt actually didn't carry on with that job?
Well,
like tiny small percentage.
I mean, I did a very I suppose you call it like a vocational degree. It wasn't like a one of the core subjects. I did. I don't even want to say it because it's a mouthful and it's so boring that you'll fall asleep.
Go on.
I did architectural technology, and
I actually like architecture.
Part of me dies every time I say it because it's that boring. But so I've gone on and done that as a job. I mean, I don't don't like it.
Oh, you
but-
actually? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you would want.
Yeah,
to
so
Fair
I'm
enough,
someone that's gone and done it, but like,
Good man.
I very nearly did sociology at uni, and I can imagine that if I'd done that, I would, yeah.
I always wanted to go into like I did college in that media and stuff, and then I was like, I don't really see why it would be particularly helpful going into uni to do that. But one thing I always wanted to go into uni to do, or just learn about in general, like actually go and do courses about was like theology and all that kind of stuff. I love learning about religions and history in general.
Yeah,
Fucking
they're
love it,
always
man.
my favourite subjects, humanities subjects like history and all of that stuff. Yeah.
I imagine there's some of that kind of stuff in there. Was it like, or was it just the architectural engineering?
It was
set?
it
So
was
literally the building?
it was literally like architecture's a really long course, and they basically, for my course, they basically took out all of the art history, all the
okay.
interesting stuff, and,
Literally
and
they-
it's like, no, you do the drawings for the builder.
Okay.
Like, this is what
Which
you
is where
do.
the money is. It's the main thing you need to do.
Yeah, I suppose it's the core role of what you're supposed to be doing. But
So if we ever need somebody to design 2 more towers that can withstand planes, we come to you. Don't know why I went there, but
I don't think I could design that. No.
neither could they apparently.
Well, it's quite a difficult brief. I think. I don't think any engineer would. Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to like it's such a weird thing to get into, but I was listening to the architectural. Do you know what it is in? You might know, like in New York and stuff, they've got like a guild of architectures or something, of architects that like big, like the higher ones, something to do stuff together. Do you know what that is? Or?
I don't know.
No.
I haven't heard of that.
I remember they were talking to them after like 9/11 and stuff. It was like 5 years later, and the one said to him was like asking him about how Tower 7 fell down, and he at the time was like, no, there wasn't a third tower that fell down. That definitely didn't happen. And obviously they found out later there was a third tower that was never
There
hit.
was a third tower.
Yeah, see.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I know nothing about conspiracies.
It's purposely been. It's not a conspiracy. It's just. There was a third tower.
I know nothing about reality.
There was a third, World Trade Center 7. It was like you got obviously the main 2 towers here, and then you had like another building here, and then World Trade Center 7 was there.
Right.
Never got hit, but fell down as well. And he said, first of all, the fact that they didn't know about it was so strange. But then just looking into it, and it's like it wasn't hit by a plane. Apparently what it was that the jet fuel managed to leak into there, burn it and knock it down, which makes it basically, these are like the architectural people saying it, like this is the only building that's ever fell down like that, the only one that had up until that point and has since. It should be like the most the most read into or looked into architectural blunder ever.
Right.
But yet it's never really been brought up.
I mean, just the
Very strange.
just the collapse of those huge towers. I can imagine like the foundations to the buildings around it. That must have been affected and stuff. Like it.
No, it wasn't that.
No.
No, they said it was jet fuel leaks,
Right.
which is also strange straight away because the cladding or something that was on it was supposed to be protective or something.
Wow.
I'm surprised you haven't like read into it if you do the architecture stuff. Just listen to some of the.
To be honest, mate, I'm so sick of architecture when I get home.
That's a good point, actually. It's a fair fucking point.
Like when I was a kid, I liked grand designs and stuff, and now I watch it, and it's like the architect forgot to do this, and I'm just there like, fucking hell, did I forget to do that? I can't watch this shit.
It's just really interesting, like the Tower 7 more than anything. Most of the stuff that people say about it, it's like, I don't know where you're getting this stuff from. Like a lot of the bullshit that people say, just because one thing doesn't make sense, they're like, oh, so everything else must have been fake and stuff. It's like, no, one part on its own can be interesting without everything else being a fucking lie, basically. But a lot of people don't get that part. But Trade Center 7, very interesting.
Okay.
Like it just makes no sense, like why it happened like it did, and especially because there was a building in between as well, which was unaffected. There was even reports beforehand. There was a news coverage that was going on, one of the things, and they had a thing at the bottom saying that World Trade Center 7 has gone down when it hadn't at that point,
Right.
which is weird too.
Fair enough. I think you know what it is for me in conspiracy theories is I think I'm scared of finding out something that they've hidden.
Yeah.
That's a scary world, and
It is, man.
I need to accept whatever's being told to me.
Well, I think one of the scary things about that is I don't know if I think it's a false flag per se. I mean, do you know what a false flag is?
No. Explain the false flag.
A false flag is like them. Let's say, for example, if the government would have done it to themselves as an excuse to then blame it on Saddam.
So like WMD is a false flag. Is
No.
that no?
No. So if the government, so you use 9/11 for an example, if the government wanted an excuse to go to war with Iraq, was it at the time, for the oil and stuff, or whatever it was, in the end there was the reason.
So they went to Afghanistan first, but then they tried to say Iraq was involved and they had WMDs as well.
Oh, kind of.
Yeah.
No, yeah, this is more like basically doing a terrorist attack to yourself.
Right.
To give the public understanding as to why you can then say, okay, this is why we need to go and yeah. And people like to think America would never do that, would they? America would never do that. They did. Like, I don't mean 9/11. I mean the Cuban Missile Crisis time.
Yeah, I don't know much about that stuff, but like I'm sure
JFK
with the military-industrial complex and all of that stuff.
JFK vetoed a plan by all the government, basically the army people. I don't know who they were, but basically they wanted to bomb an American not submarine, like a cruise ship kind of thing, or some big boat, or something, and something else as well. But he vetoed it completely. But it's just with like the Freedom of Information Act stuff. Like it's there. It's confirmed. So they did do it before, and then the president vetoed it. I mean, he died not too long afterwards, though, which is even weirder. But I don't think there's that much to that. Actually, I looked into the JFK thing quite a lot for something I did before.
Yeah, I watched the film JFK.
Yeah,
and I mean it was. I think it would be better is like I would love to see like a Netflix series of of explaining all of that rather than a kind of drama film.
Yeah, because they are better.
Yeah, because that's a conspiracy.
Yeah,
and
one of the biggest ones. Yeah. And it could have happened, like they said. That's the thing, though. Apart from the magic bullet thing, which doesn't make any sense. Like a bullet can apparently go through your body and ricochet to different things and come out pristine, just on the gurney, clean.
Yeah,
I mean that makes no sense.
Clearly, there was some.
But for everything I looked at it, I think more than anything, people assume it was like the CIA trying to kill him and all these things. And there's a lot of weird stuff, like they changed the route. They didn't tell certain people beforehand. They went drinking the night before, the CIA did, before they went and did this thing with him. More than anything, though, I just think the CIA accidentally shot him from behind. I think that's all it was.
You think, oh God, that's a bad day at the office.
It's a very bad
accidentally
day.
Shot the president.
Well, they also said they'd never had one of these guns that could have done it, despite the fact that there's a photo of the guy behind holding the exact gun behind JFK. Like,
right.
That gun weren't there, yet you're holding it.
You know what? I like that as a conspiracy, that they were just trying to save poor Bill, who had a terrible day at work. And they were like, we'll come up with this story. We're going to save Bill. He's 2 years from retirement. He doesn't need this shit. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of MK Ultra?
Yeah, now where have I heard of that from?
Could have been the same kind of thing, because it's involved in JFK.
Right, okay.
MK Ultra is like the whole, the LSD dosing that they used to do.
Oh, so I saw, I think it was on a Joe Rogan or something that they mentioned it. And that's, is it Ted Kaczynski? Was he part of them, or was
he was one of them?
Yeah.
And Ted Kaczynski, what's that guy? Charles Manson.
Yeah.
I don't know one as well. Yeah.
I mean, that's disturbing stuff. The experimenting on people's minds.
Right there.
That's the...
Midnight Climax is another one as well. Have you heard? It's the same thing, but rather than just doing it like, dosing them in secret, they would wait for people to go to not a brothel, but like those places where you put their money in and like the thing comes up in the 70s and there'll be a girl behind the screen. Yeah, one of them. But what actually happened was when it started, they would then get gassed with LSD. Just another version of it.
Oh God, yeah.
And one of the main doctors that was involved in all that, because the idea was dose him up so that they could is the idea of mind control? Because apparently they thought the Soviets had it or something, where they never did. Basically, mind control in the sense of destroy them mentally and then make them believe what you want. It's not mind control; it's just fucking someone up.
Yeah, it's abuse.
Yeah. And basically, Jack Kirby, the one who eventually shot Lee Harvey Oswald, you know, the guy who shot JFK. He was being walked out, like, I'm doing a perp walk outside, and then this Jack Ruby came up and shot him, the one you see in the video, even though he's like a nightclub owner, has no reason, he had no reason to do that. And then he was in jail, and then one of the head doctors, he found out years later, you know, decades later, that was involved in the MK Ultra stuff, went in, did something with him, and then after that, basically, they decided that he had gone crazy and they couldn't interview him.
Yeah.
Jack Ruby. Very strange, man. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm not even going to pretend to know. Just very interesting.
Yeah, that makes my skin crawl a bit.
Very interesting. Though. I mean, the world, for anyone to think that the world is all pristine, lovely and roses, are silly people. I'm sorry. The world's shit. But in a great way.
Yeah, but I think I choose ignorance a lot. I'd rather be ignorant to it. And it's probably, I'm not the president. I have nothing to worry about. Look, as long as I'm going to stay out of it.
I thought this whole time I was talking to Mr. Biden. You're telling me you're not Mr. Biden?
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Biden knows if he's Mr. Biden.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. Oh, he's a fucking farcical, man. The last fucking presidents that they had have been hilarious. Just like our fucking prime ministers. The two world powers have had ridiculous leaders over the last few years, man.
Yeah, it's not a good sign, is it?
It Boris and fucking Trump at the same time. I mean, that alone.
Yeah.
We survived that, though. So we can survive Boris and Trump at the same time. Maybe we can survive anything. Maybe that's the real moral of the story there.
Yeah, Boris and Trump and a global pandemic. And, and we did make it through.
We made it through.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like in the end, UK did a pretty decent job of getting through it. In the end, considering where we're at now compared to some other countries still, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to criticise. I mean,
yeah.
But I would have done a terrible job.
Oh, I'd have done everything perfect.
I would have
been perfect.
I don't know what I would have done. I think we'd still be in lockdown. I think I would get so stressed out. I would just lock everyone down.
I mean, that's exactly what they did. Like 3 times what it is.
Yeah,
I think
like
it
that.
was.
Because the first one was like the fun one, where it's like, this is novel, get food delivered.
Over the first 2 weeks, people were really nice to each other too.
Yeah. And then the second one was just mind-numbingly boring.
Yeah, it wasn't a good
sequel. Because it was cold and...
Like all sequels, it's never as good as the first.
No.
The third one, sometimes it picks up again though.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Because we had a set time as well for that one, I think.
Yeah, we were like, we're just going to do it this long this time.
And they were like, the last one. And I actually believed that at that point, because I was like, even if it gets to the point now where they should do a lockdown, just because they've said it and they're like, well, we've said it now, they will not do a lockdown. So maybe we needed a lockdown again, I don't know, but we didn't. In the end, we're good, I think now. I don't know if I had COVID at any point.
I did. I've had it twice now. The first time, I think I got like the first variant, and it was weird. I felt like I had vertigo. Yeah, kind of lightheaded, and it lasted for like a week. But I found if I opened the window, it kind of got a lot better. And I was renting and not paying for heating, so it was at winter, so I just had my window wide open and the heating on full blast, and that's kind of how I coped.
I think I didn't know that I did at any time, but both me and my mom realised at a certain point that her tastes had changed. And I know that's one of the main things. So maybe I did know we were both one of the lucky ones, that just didn't get affected much by it. I lost my ability for spice completely though at one point.
Really?
Yeah, man. I love spicy food, and then I thought I was getting it back. I was getting it back, and then about a month or two ago, probably a month ago, me and Nathan Parrish and the Kd Hinken comedy, we did the 1 chip challenge. Oh my god, that shit destroyed me.
Oh, I think I did see that clip.
Oh my god, dude, that was horrible.
I'm glad we're not doing anything like that.
No, I'm never doing that again. It's hard enough to eat as well for me. It's fucking extremely dry, those crisps too. So dry. Oh man, it was fucking horrendous. Next time I want a full lineup of wings. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, the hot wings thing, man. That's a good show. Yeah.
I wanted to dry fucking it makes it worse, the dryness of it, and it's just you try to you got no saliva, and we just smoked a completely illegal cigarette before it. Completely legal cigarette before it. It didn't help. It made my mouth even drier. Like all legal cigarettes do, naturally,
Yeah.
You're not a smoker at all?
I was at uni. I kind of did it a lot there. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Like I still smoke cigarettes occasionally, but I'm trying to stop
Be a mature
that.
man.
Yeah. I feel like.
You're the same age, actually. You understand, and as soon as you get to 30, your body literally, you start feeling it falling apart, man. You really do.
Yeah, you've got to take care of it. I don't, but
yeah. You notice it when you don't. Like, generally every time I drink now, I have like certain things I'll do. Like I have like systems in it, to make myself feel better. I've realised because I get headaches a lot, and I'm proper like thinking about my body now all the time. And I've realised like very recently, if you just, it's such a weird thing to think. Just sit there for a second and just think and relax your head. It helps so much. Like all here. So weird. If you ever get a headache again, just think about it for a bit. Just relax your head.
Okay.
It's a really strange thing, I know.
I'll give it a go because hangovers now are unbearable.
Yeah.
It's more it's less the physical symptoms of a hangover, but the emotional symptoms of a hangover. The anxiety.
It's weird, ain't it? Yeah.
It's like, and you're like, oh, I'm getting the guilt from last night. Even though I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's strange the way it.
Before we finish off, actually, one thing I was going to show you, what I was doing, because I went down to the Actress and Bishop yesterday for Gerps's
yeah, so
warnings.
I met him at one of your gigs, and he's doing this.
Okay.
What is it, like
it's
a quiz?
Warning, no, it's kind of like a mock the week, that kind of thing. Like big topics that the audience have given, and now come up, and like there's a rapid fire round, there's a debate with 2 comics around. I'm doing it next month and I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, cool.
I'm doing that on the 22nd at the Actress and Bishop, and then literally the day after is mine at the Actress and Bishop, and he's doing my one as well as a thing, so we're doing a crossover kind of thing.
Nice. Okay, cool.
That is like a kind of quiz thing more than anything. Like that was what I was doing during the pandemic.
That sounds good. I like the pub. I've only been there for like a music gig.
Oh, it's lovely, man.
Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to point out to you. So I was up there yesterday. And I was chilling with Andrew Fayer. You know him?
No.
Mr. Chuckles.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Well, the three of us, but at the end, me and him were fucking my photos, playing downstairs because we realised they have like I don't know how long they've done this for, but they've got like all board games on all the different tables downstairs.
Okay.
And we had like one of the most intense games of Jenga, fucking ever, man. Like, hold on, let me find the end. Look at these fucking. Look at this. 4 bits. Look, and up there, look.
That's impressive.
It was
that looks like the minimum.
Oh man, it was literally the minimum. Like 4. I've never understood until last night. Jenga is a legitimate pub game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's fucking fun.
Yeah, I've played Giant Jenga at a festival and gotten really into it, like a crowd. A crowd forms. Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell, man. I don't know. I think we're getting up to the end now, unless there's anything you want to bring up or anything.
No, that's all good. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Tell them your plugs. Tell them where they can find your stuff, your name. Tell them where your head is.
I have no social media. I've got one gig coming up on the 3rd of November, and that's it.
This will be out.
Be there.
Where was it?
It's in Lichfield. I'm trying to remember the name of the pub.
It's the hardest thing to try and remember.
Yeah.
As I said, I fucking always forget to write them down myself, man. And just a few days before, you're like, what's the person's name? Where is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The easiest way in it, yeah.
Pretty much.
So 2 days before, when was the gig again?
3rd of November.
So on the 1st of November, maybe have a look at where the venue is.
Okay. Yeah.
No, not you. You dick. I'm saying they go on. Have a look at your.
You were looking at me.
Socials. I was looking at myself actually. I can't help but look at myself, man. I'm a vain bastard. The shopkeeper earlier told me that I looked funky today.
Funky? That's a good thing.
I assumed.
Yeah.
Or he thought I smelt one of them.
Yeah.
I think he was saying I smelt,
Sorry, I've planted that in your head now.
Yeah, you have done.
Sorry.
All right, let's finish. I need to go have a shower.
Okay, great.
Same for me though, as always. KD Comedy Inc. Check out anything that's going on the 23rd of 11th will be the comedian quiz off of the Actress and Bishop with Nathan Parrish, Alex Plant, Griff, Callum Jarvis Jones, and a special comedian quiz-off contestant, classic one. Maybe it's not a lady, maybe it's not that much of a sausage fest, who knows? Maybe I'm lying. And Just P is a special score master hosted by this beautiful bastard right here. And In Your House Comedian Podcast, Killed with Comedy, I don't know, just have a look. I got gigs coming too. Just have a look on Kd Comedy. I can't be asked to go through them now. Bye.